When you can start cultivating your world from the inside out, you start to realize how much more control you have in your life. Your inner alignment that you decide every day on an energetic level shapes those conversations you're having, the people you attract, the choices you make, the environments that you create. As you start realigning, your world begins to reorganize around you. Welcome to The Authentic Way. I'm Jess, and this space is dedicated to helping you step into your most authentic self, deeply knowing who you are, trusting yourself fully, and expressing your truth with confidence while living in alignment with it every day. I created this for anyone moving through big life transitions and feeling a little bit lost. Everything I share here is rooted in lived experience, the lessons I've walked through, the shifts I've had to make, and the process of finding my way back to myself. My hope is that what I've learned helps you back to your own clarity, confidence, and self-trust. Today, we're going to be exploring aligned action and what it actually means and how it becomes the foundation for steady, grounded momentum. I wanted to slow this down because aligned action is one of those phrases that sounds good, but it can be misunderstood a lot of the times. We can think that aligned action is just reaction with emotions, and it is not. Aligned action is doing something bold or decisive. It's not about moving quickly or making big moves. It's about where the action is coming from. Aligned action feels grounded. It feels steady in your body. Even if the decision stretches you, there's this sense of clarity underneath it. It feels nervous system safe in the body. Everything's relaxed. You're not rushing to escape any sort of feeling. You're not trying to prove something. You are choosing your next step from a connected place. Reaction is a little bit different. It tends to be more emotionally charged. There can be urgency in it, a tightness, or a need to respond right away. That might look like you send a text because you feel anxious, or you say yes because you feel guilty. That's not wrong. It's human. It's usually just your nervous system trying to regulate quickly. But aligned action has space and ease in it. Even if it happens fast, it doesn't feel frantic. There's a pause, even if it's just one breath. You notice what you're feeling and then choose how you want to respond in a grounded manner. You can still feel fear and take aligned action. You can still feel uncertainty and take aligned action. The difference is the emotion isn't driving the decision. You're acknowledging it, but you're not letting it steer. Aligned action is clear. Reaction often feels relieving in the moment, but unsettling later on. Aligned action builds integrity, it builds self-trust, because every time you pause and respond intentionally, you're reinforcing that you can handle your emotions without abandoning yourself. And that's where real momentum comes from. The momentum is not built on pressure or panic or comparison, but it's built on consistent, grounded choices. Aligned action isn't loud, it doesn't always look dramatic from the outside. Sometimes it's choosing not to engage or choosing to wait, choosing to speak calmly, to rest, to move forward without overthinking. It can feel slower at first, but it is far more sustainable. And sustainable momentum is actually building the life that you want because you're no longer reacting to emotions alone. You're responding in alignment. You're reacting from who you are becoming, not from what you're afraid of. Fear is not stepping in. Aligned action is when your outer behavior matches your inner values. It's being able to say, even if it doesn't work out, I showed up in a way that felt true to me. It is peace, it's power, and it's how you stop standing in your own way. Now let's begin the episode. Hello and welcome back to The Authentic Way. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I'm really excited about this conversation. We're going to be talking about aligned action and how through aligned action we're able to cultivate the most authentic versions of ourselves and the full alignment in our day-to-day lives. Aligned action is so fun because Once we've kind of now stepped into who we are and we've shed those layers that are no longer us and all the conditionings that had made us who we were but wasn't authentic to us, we can now start stepping into the more authentic version of who we actually are through the embodiment. And when you can start acting from this place or taking actions or just living in that version of you that is true, you start creating this momentum around you through energy. And that's when you start kind of reaping the rewards of stepping into the most authentic version of yourself. Even if it's in one area of your life, let's just say you've decided that you're going to be much more authentic in dating. Maybe you have other areas of your life you still want to work on. But when it comes to dating, you've decided this is who you're going to be and you're not settling anymore. When you start seeing that momentum working and the energy starts shifting around you, it becomes so apparent how this works. And you get really excited because you can start seeing the right people coming to you and how magnetic you are. And you're no longer attracting the people that you used to attract because you're now this super magnetic, bright version of yourself that has really hard boundaries as to what you're willing to accept. And that momentum creates these little synchronicities, and you'll start witnessing it everywhere. And you'll start showing up as this bigger, higher version of yourself. And through those synchronicities, you'll be rewarded and you will start seeing how magical this process actually is when you're able to fall in love with yourself and live from that place of authenticity. We're going to be talking about how your inner alignment shapes the world around you and how you can start changing your external world just by changing your internal narrative and energy. We're going to be talking about how we're no longer going to hustle or force anything, but rather just receive and be in flow. And we're going to understand how your body and energy are working together. And because your body and energy are a big part of this process, your body isn't just a physical shell that you're wearing every day. And it's not just the thing that gets you from point A to point B. It's energetic. It is made of energy. And whether or not it feels like it, everything around you is energy and everything is interacting at all times of the day. Your thoughts, emotions, even sensations, all forms of energy moving through you. Your system is constantly sending signals about what's actually feeling safe or what's feeling true and what's available to you or what is actually possible. You're always influencing your environment, whether you realize it or not, and you're constantly manifesting your reality. And yes, I'm going to be using the word manifesting just because it makes the most logical sense in the sentence, even if it feels a little bit woo-woo to you. We are manifesting our realities because our inner state sets the tone for what you're actually noticing every single day and what you're responding to and what you're allowing in. You can only see what you've decided. It has narrowed your perception because that is your internal state. So when your emotions, thoughts, and your body are all out of sync, it starts to feel like your energy is just scattered and movement can feel really heavy and life feels super resistant, kind of with anything that you do. And that's when everything is all out of alignment. But when it is in alignment, your energy comes from like this beautiful, flowy place. You move with less effort and things start to respond to you differently and they start to just show up. There's no resistance or gooiness to try and do something. And you start seeing that alignment coming through in that process when things feel easy and safe. This is where the momentum starts to begin. The way that we can make momentum happen is through the aligned action process. And aligned action is taken when your whole system is on board and your nervous system feels safe and grounded and calm. It doesn't feel like it's forcing anything or frantic or scarcity. It feels like it's exactly where it's supposed to be and it's doing what it's supposed to do. It feels very grounded and clear and steady. However, I will say it is normal for you when you take aligned action. Let's say that you are putting a post-it on Instagram. Yes, you might feel grounded in it and it might not feel forced and it might feel really, really good. Nerves can still show up. It doesn't mean that there aren't any nerves. I mean, we are human. So just because you have emotions around it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. That's normal, especially when it comes to doing something new. And when you're in the aligned action phase, you are not pushing anything. Like you're not constantly trying or clawing or trying to grasp on. You're simply responding to the next clear step that has unraveled itself to you. You're kind of still in the unfolding phase after the reconnection and the releasing of parts of you that don't belong. And life is still unfolding, and you're still finding that authenticity and that alignment within. The aligned action is less about what you do and more about how you're going to do it. It's focusing on the energy that's put in, not necessarily like the actual process step by step by step. And that means when you're taking the aligned action, you're not just moving forward, you're actually like making room for something. Because when we release old identities, and maybe through that you've released versions of yourself that are no longer true to you, you now have far more room to now let in the things that are far more aligned with your energy. You're showing on an energetic level what you are available for. And energy is just simply responding to that. Aligned action clears mixed signals and creates coherence, clarity, grounded decisions. It is like clearing the runway for exactly what you are wanting and feels true to you. It's saying, I am ready without actually forcing anything. It's this state, it's this mindset that you can get into, and just deciding I'm ready to be this new version of myself because this is actually who I am, and I've let go of those old stories that were put on me. So I'm now going to make my decisions from this place. This is who I am deciding to be moving forward. And this can show up through small actions, like saying no to someone, or clearing space, or choosing from what feels true. Start opening up doors. You could be deciding to no longer be friends with someone, or you're going to end the relationship, or you're going to quit the job. I'm not saying go quit your job, but if that's what feels right and that feels like the next aligned action for you and makes sense, this would be the time to do it when you know that it is time. Once this room is kind of created and you've released these things out of your life, alignment now has somewhere to land in your life. And magnetically, you are calling that in. That's when all these aligned opportunities and synchronicities start showing up at your door every single day. So this could look like if you decide to quit your job and now you're going to be self-employed. Let's just say you want to do fitness coaching. You now have decided that you are putting all of your energy into fitness coaching, and you are signaling to the universe and all the energy happening around you that you have let go of putting the energy into other places, and all of your energy is going here. And that's when the universe starts to show up and start supporting you energetically by bringing you clients, bringing you the validation that you might need to just keep going, bringing you opportunities that might make you money in the fitness world. And that's not because you're chasing these things, but because your energy is clear and receptive. It is ready to receive what's going to unfold for you on that energetic level. That's why all these aligned opportunities and synchronicities just kind of blast through the door. And sometimes it's actually laughable. It kind of comes in hot sometimes, and you're not always ready for it. So when momentum starts, it is kind of like this energetic feedback loop that just keeps receiving. Those create these internal shifts of more trust, more safety, more clarity. Those shifts start changing what you notice every single day, or what you want to respond to, and how you're going to respond, and which opportunities start to feel available and you actually see in front of you. Momentum starts building because your energy is consistent and attracting that same energy back to you. It's a mirror. Everywhere you go and everything you do is a mirror. And that's why momentum is so fun, because when you can start to see that energy picking up, kind of like a tornado, it starts going faster and faster and bigger and bigger. And now you're just in this whirlwind of an energy field and watching everything around you start lining up with that energy. And that's when these synchronicities start coming in and things start lining up. Synchronicities are not random. Have you ever been somewhere and you asked for a sign for something and you saw that exact sign and laughed and thought, there's no way that actually happened? And you're kind of like doubting yourself because how fast it showed up. And it kind of left you in this really weird place of, do I even trust this? That is not random. They happen when your inner state is clear and receptive to seeing it and feeling it around you. When you are aligned, you're far more present. You recognize opportunities way faster. You act without any sort of hesitation because everything just feels glorious and right. It feels like life is meeting you halfway, and for once, you don't have to do near the amount of work. There's way less resistance showing up. Not because you're doing more, but because you are actually available. You have created space. You're calm. You're proud. You know that you are exactly where you need to be in that present moment just by creating that energy around you. When you can start cultivating your world from the inside out, you start to realize how much more control you have in your life. Your inner alignment that you decide every day on an energetic level shapes those conversations you're having, the people you attract, the choices you make, the environments that you create. As you start realigning, your world begins to reorganize around you. This is what people mean by becoming magnetic. It's not attraction, it's coherence. Magnetic people are so strong because they've aligned themselves in the inside. They're grounded, calm, they're honest with themselves. They aren't doing anything for validation from those around them. So, when we talk about aligned action in this phase, we're talking about how safety, self trust, embodiment create momentum, and how life starts responding when your energy is clear. Now, I really wanted to tap into what it's called when you are able to align yourself energetically in this level. To me, I refer to it as authentic power. And that authentic power starts in your body. It starts in the safety, into the trust, and into the action. Being in your authentic power is so amazing. This stage really allows you to feel the internal shifts that you've been able to make through all of this work, and understanding how making the decision to start making choices from your core truth and that authentic power, your life starts changing. Literally. Everything around you starts changing. You will watch your friends start changing for the better. You'll start watching how your money starts changing. You'll start watching how you are doing more things in alignment with yourself, therefore having way more fun and feeling so much better and way bolder, more creative, bigger. Like your aura is just glowing. And that magnetism comes from that authentic power. And I've talked about this before, but the way that you can really tell that someone is in their authentic power is they are probably one of the most popular people in the room, and everyone wants to be around them because their energy feels so good. It's so refreshing to be around because, for once, someone is just being them. They're not looking for any external validation. They're not looking for anyone to approve of them at all. And that person is so solid in themselves that it creates this pull. Like, I want more of that. I want to be that. How do I achieve that? And that is this whole process that we are talking about here, is that when you've now created that trust in your body with this version of you that you actually are, you start embodying that version of you through aligned action. You want to be the person who is big, bold, creative, loud, magnetic. If you start embodying that every single day and just making a choice from that version of you, watch the energy surround you. It might not happen overnight because that's not how momentum works. But when you start acting from that place, the energy is going to start picking up faster and faster and faster. And you're going to watch things fade out of your life that don't support this. And you're going to watch things come into your life that support this, and opportunities that start arising to give you more room to be yourself, to give you more opportunity. You're going to realize how your friends now are asking for more of you, how opportunities start landing at your feet to show up for yourself and to show more of yourself. And a lot of that actually does start in the reconnection to self and dating yourself, because you really are falling in love with yourself more and more and more, that it starts creating this momentum of self-love. Okay, if I love myself, how am I going to show up for myself? How am I going to take care of myself as I would a partner? How am I going to start creating this energy of love and embodiment around me and start stepping into this version of me that was always there, that was always true, and making decisions from that perspective? You will know when you are supposed to take an aligned action step because you will feel it somatically. You will feel the trust in your body that, yes, on paper it might be a little bit scary. And yes, it feels a little bit risky to put yourself out there because you can't find the safety unless you've really done it. That's okay. But when you know it's time to make the next aligned action step, it's time. And you're going to do it with grace and compassion for yourself and watch basically the universe roll out the red carpet for you. I can give an example of this from when I had started my residential cleaning company quite a few years ago. And it all kind of happened by accident. And I really hate saying that, but it's true. I had zero intentions of actually starting a business. But when I kind of came out of this world or projection that I was supposed to work for someone else and it was supposed to be really hard and life was supposed to suck and blah, blah, blah. When I decided to start cleaning just to make some cash to pay my rent while I figured out another job, the universe was like, this is what you need to be doing. And I really put myself out there and I got myself some clients and I had steady income. And each time I took an aligned action step of putting myself out there to get more clients, the universe would send me 5 times the amount of what I was desiring. I'm not kidding. It was like I didn't even really need to put myself out there. It just happened so fast. And every time that I kept saying, okay, it's time for the next step in my cleaning business, it was just like handed to me on a silver platter. And every time that happened, I kept thinking, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. But it was about making the decision that I was ready for the next thing. And I was signaling to the universe that, yes, I'm going to start hiring employees. Okay, the universe says, I'm going to send you the best employees. I'm going to send you the people that are going to help make this happen. And that's when that aligned action started creating this momentum. And all of a sudden, because I'm me, I ended up with this business and making money. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I feel like I just felt what I was supposed to do next. And it was authentic to me at the time. And it was in full alignment with where I was going. It was fully supported. And yes, I still do have my cleaning business. However, I've been pretty disconnected from it lately, and like I've just been kind of doing what I need to do with it. It's still growing, just on a bit of a slower pace, which I'm like really happy with where it's at. But maybe like the past 4 months, I want to say, things started getting kind of slow. And that's when I had this whole idea of doing this podcast and starting the authentic way and started doing the foundational work for it. But I wasn't actually taking really any of the external steps yet, the aligned action steps. And it felt like my cleaning business just kind of slowed down. And I kind of took that as a sign that it's time. The universe doesn't want me to get comfortable here. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. I can still own it and be a part of it, but this is where I need to be putting my energy. So I started creating, I started developing the authentic way, and I started putting myself out there. And I kid you not, the moment that I started taking the aligned action steps for the authentic way, the universe was like, here's a shit ton of clients because we're going to support you financially during this time. And just like, boom. It was like I was like given a reward for being me and to take that brave action step that I knew was the next step. And it keeps happening. They keep coming in. To me, I'm like, thank you. That makes this journey feel a lot less scary because I still know that we are good, even though that was a bit of a slow period. I know that I am supported in my cleaning business while I do this. And now I don't have to do the authentic way from this like baseline of stress or worry about anything. And I know that I am supported and held. And that's where these synchronicities have been showing up for me. And I'm seeing the momentum picking up day in, day out, and watching all these little signs around me and why I should be doing this and like stepping into the authentic version of me that is the authentic way and embodying her, because I've just like been bursting at the seams to start talking about this and why it's so important to me and why it's my life. And I want to share it and help those who I can help. It's so beautiful watching the alignment create momentum, and momentum invites an energetic response from the universe. Simple as that. And that's kind of where I want to leave it. I love this part of the phase. I think I've said that about the past 3 episodes. But I just love all of it. And I'm so interested in all of this work and how we can actually start realizing that everything is a mirror around us. And how can we tap into the life that we actually want to live? And it's not going to happen overnight. It definitely hasn't happened overnight. But the moment you start, just remember that each energetic response, maybe it's the way that you hold yourself, respond to someone, signal. It makes a difference. It creates this momentum around you to start shaping this version you want to be so you can start stepping into them and finding that safety in your body. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope this episode invites you to take an aligned action that does feel good right now and it feels grounded in where you're at. I hope that it can push you to find that safety within so that you can start moving forward and start creating your own momentum. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time.